What embarrassing phase did you go through as a teenager? I started a rap crew based on Winnie the Pooh. I was Pooh Daddy, my friend was the Notorious T.I.G. and another friend was Big O. We were writing a song called Honey Rhymes with Money. The name of this group, Pooh-Tang Clan. Edit. To all the people asking for tracks, unfortunately the world wasn't ready for the wokeness of our raps about Fugin and the 100-acre words. British accent. I'm from the southern US. Thinking that my angst would be seen by potential mates as mysterious and cool, when in reality I was just insufferable and self-absorbed. I had hair over one eye, because I thought I looked like Jessica Rabbit. Spoiler, I definitely did not look like Jessica Rabbit. After that, I shaved the underside of my hair a la the little girl on The Crow. Can't rain all the time. When I was 15, well before Avril Lavigne happened, skater boys were the most attractive guys in my social environment. My friend, my sister and I would spend evenings hanging around the skate park, checking out the guys, and fighting over which one of us would get to date the cutest guy. After about a month of this, we conceded that the answer was none of us. When I first got Facebook, I had a phase where all of my status updates had to have a song lyric in it. Cheesy, overwrought love letters to girls I dated for a month or two. Sometimes I just want to hold you until you can crumble. When I was a teenager I was a huge WWF fan and there was this wrestler named Edge who would perch in high places inside the arena and just watch the matches for months before he made his actual debut. Because of this, I used to do the same thing, because I thought it was bad. I used to find high places and just perch there like a gargoyle for hours. In trees, on roofs of people's houses, on ledges, anywhere that I could climb, and I would just sit there, crouched motionless and watch people's reactions when they would see me. I did the whole dye my hair black, black fingernail polish, black smudgy eyeliner. I was a emo dude. But I also loved gangster rap, so I worked big chains with Batman symbols on them. It was a mess. As a nation kid, AZN pride was in full effect. I had a spiky hair that had so much damn LA looks hair gel in it, I'm surprised I didn't go bald. Yelling out, got rice, and writing AZN on school desks are other phases I just cringe at. Also attempted to breakdance, even though I have the rhythm of a wet noodle. Manic pixie delusional idiot. I thought by trying to turn myself into the opposite of every female stereotype, super into sex, not into commitment, love sports and boots, not into emotional BS, not into makeup or standard fashion, not into gifts, said PMS was a load of crap, etc. Guys would be dying to be with me. They would gush to all their friends about how I was so cool and not like other girls. Turns out that being a big fake isn't that attractive at all. Was far too good at Dance Revolution and would go places just to play it. I also wore those giant pants with too many straps, so I jingled like a change purse. Being into rave culture, I had a tongue piercing and wore hilariously huge alien pants with tassels on them. Sigh. Edit. Oops. UFO pants, not alien. I used to walk around school throwing a bouncy ball against the walls everywhere I went. Edit. No, this isn't really cringy, but more so something that would look strange for someone not in high school to do everywhere he went. I hated my naturally curly hair and straightened my hair out badly every day, all my pictures looking ridiculous, like a blow-dried ghetto from the 80s. I spent a few months in the 9th grade dressing up in a matching tracksuit because I thought it was soaking cool. I looked like a Russian teenager drug dealer. I was a hardcore communist for like 3 years in college. Like, I seriously believed Stalin didn't kill anyone, and it was a massive capitalist propaganda effort to make it seem like he was a murderous dictator. I'm really glad this phase was almost completely digital, and it mainly took the format of long involved debates about communism and now defunct message boards. I too was a scene kid. MCR, PATD, Linkin Park. I wore obscene graphic tees, GIR hoodies, those animal hats with the long flaps on the sides that functioned as gloves/paws. Had an eyebrow piercing, wore feathers in my hair, fingerless gloves, fishnet, those thick rubber bracelets with band names and other phrases like OMG and WTF on them, seen bangs, smoked cigs and put them out on myself, just so I could feel something. RAWR. I was also a Brinny, so I was basically the most able person in high school. I grew up in a small town in New York, graduating class of 100. I was always a bit of a redneck, but my senior year of high school, I kicked it into overdrive. Blue jeans, sleeveless t-shirt, work boots, cowboy hat every day. Also got a barbed wire tattoo. Tried to, couldn't stand it. Couldn't grow a beard or mustache, but I know I would have, had I been able to. Luckily, I haven't found any photographic evidence of this phase. The misunderstood writer phase. I wrote daily blogs on MySpace that were basically just cryptic, stream of conscious drivel. My friends ate that up, and I was so full of myself. In my early 20s, when I started dating a girl that didn't know me from those years, I went and deleted all the posts because I knew she'd eventually find my MySpace page. Part of me wanted to preserve it to look back at, but I was afraid that she wouldn't get it. Nuked it all. Thank God I did. I'm glad I scrubbed that when I did. Nowadays I bet it'd be way more difficult to truly delete it all. At the time I considered my writing to be avant-garde, but now in my 30s I've realized that artists often label things as avant-garde when they really mean to say it's bad. I spent 2 weeks in the box phase. Backstory: I was a firm believer in be a kid while you can and make school memorable. Also I was just overall bad at reading situations for most of my years growing up. One day prom's coming up and some guy hides in a giant cardboard box to surprise his girlfriend. I later found this box in the middle of the hallway and had one of my stupidest ideas ever. I took this box back to class and began repairing it. Not just before and after but during class. Honestly I think the only reason I got away with it is because it was religion class and the teacher probably though I was challenged. I cut a hole in the front of the box for my eyes and wrote turtles and ice on it. For 2 whole weeks I would walk from class to class with that box thinking I was solid king snake. At one point I brought the box home for the weekend. On the way my friends came and tried to take the box and I actually chased after them. Should have just let them have it. After 2 weeks of my friends telling me to get rid of it, I finally jumped on the box and crushed it. Worst part was this was in grade 11. I guarantee that the whole school thought I had some form of mental disability and I really don't blame them. I still lie awake at night just coming to terms with the fact that everyone from my high school remembers it. Moral of the story: don't. Just don't. I used to want to sound like a cool edgy emo writer or something, so I would narrate things that were happening around me out loud. I remember at a family event we were roasting s'mores, and I was just like fire, slowly burning, destroying, and turning everything black. I can't remember anymore because I'm cringing too hard. I was a very awkward introvert with some surprisingly serious anger issues. Reading back on a lot of stuff I wrote back then, I'm a bit surprised. In middle school, I went through a phase of slicking my long hair back into a tight bun at the nape of my neck. I used a ton of gel to make sure my hair didn't move. I also only plucked one eyebrow and made it super arched. I was super jealous of all the girls who were thin and girly. I look back on my middle school years and cringe. Blessed be puberty. At like 14 to 15 I finally came to the conclusion that I didn't believe in any god at all and felt pretty betrayed and angry about it because religious organizations felt like some kinda scam. This led to a period of some pretty strong anti-theism that, looking back on, was just plain obnoxious if nothing else. My friends and I all had live journals, and we would regularly passive-aggressively communicate with each other through them. Live journal entry. Ugh. I can't believe how crazy Sam has been lately. I know her boyfriend broke up with her, but that was months ago. She's no fun to hang around anymore. Sam's liver journal entry. The following day, I'm sick and tired of people who don't understand what it's like to have a broken heart. Being a Brinny, in middle school I was sucked into it from my friends, and after humility and life lessons I dropped that and never looked back. Cutting myself. Now I'll have these ugly scars for the rest of my life. I went through this really socially awkward phase as a teenager that started about a decade earlier and has continued on the last couple decades. There were only like 3 kids in the whole school who were into martial arts, and I took it too far into the whole mystical Asia thing. I wasn't a weeaboo or anything, or a koraboo, it was taekwondo. I just dreamed of learning the mysteries of Kai, so I could do crazy kung fu. My only defense is that this was well before the internet and lots of people smarter than me believed in that stuff too. I had older cousins that I looked up to. They were into ICP, so they dressed like juggalos without the face paint. I didn't know what ICP was, I just knew I wanted to be like my cousins. So from like 13 to 15 I accidentally dressed like a juggalo. Lots of bad pictures from those days. I had business cards made, way before Vistaprint, that had my name, number, and title of knight in shining armor. I would hand these out, with a smile, to any person that I found attractive, in or out of school. I thought I was really suave, but it is only embarrassing now as a group of newer friends and I were discussing this, and them pretty much laughing at me for doing this. That edgy hot topic phase. It's literally the most low risk form of teenage rebellion, but as a black kid, that can really with your parents, and just feels that teenage self-righteous, this is who I'm feeling. While I'm nearly 30, and have obviously moved past the teenage, the hot topic phase definitely influenced much of my current aesthetic choices. So I guess it never quite left. As a result of my depression I was very much like one of those I am very smart people, even bordering nice guys level as well. Thankfully I got my shit together. I was obsessed with Alvin and the Chipmunks, including renaming myself Simon. Cringe. Insane Teen Wolf style sideburns. I am very smart-ish speech/opinions. Obsessed with anime, before it was popular or even socially acceptable at all. Was always drawing in public and my art and stories were awful. Crippling depression/self-harm. I needed help, but did not seek it for years. Turned out okay, married, have kid, corporate job, sideburns of a dignified respectable length. Drawing got better, realized that my smarts were just loads of useless trivia, realized my smart opinions were naive, still love my 90s anime. Maybe I'm still going through it, but the extreme need to constantly put on an angry face when walking through crowds of people and down hallways. I don't know why I do it other than to appear unapproachable, and that's probably a bad idea. I talked and acted like I was from the 18th century, and even adapted my handwriting to include those old style ligatures between S and T. For example, I bought a frilly shirt second-hand and wore it with a waistcoat and a vaguely old-fashioned military jacket. This peaked when I was 14 or so, and no, it didn't make me the popular girl. Luckily I wore a school uniform, UK, so people only witnessed these terrible outfits on RN on uniform days. I feel like this applies more to millennials than anyone else, but I went through that edgelord phase, you know, where you'd have Evanescence on blast and hate everything. Imagining myself as a Marvel superhero, and having fantasies about my secret identity being revealed during a fight in front of the whole school, so everyone would be shocked and amazed at how wrong they were about me. There was that time frame where quiet little me wanted to stand out. I wore different types of Osiris shoes, one a navy blue and the other white and red. Wore jeans with gaping holes in them, so I had to wear shorts underneath to cover certain areas. Used to do the weirdest stuff to my hair. I must have looked homeless walking around school. I believed I could see like people's familiars. When I was a freshman in high school, I was so wildly in my own imagination that I had an entire group of friends converted to this. There was a giant enemy animal thing that was always trying to kill us. I remember texting my friends and saying that the evil one is watching me in the classroom.